Okay. So, hello everyone. Hold on, I just want to make. Okay, we'll skip that. All right. So I'm gonna hit record and we're gonna get started. But thank you everybody for coming to this full moon circle. Obviously, some of you are usuals in the private community, and then some of you are just joining for this, so thank you for being a part of, I think, more of a special probably evening. I felt really called to hold a full moon circle, and mainly because of just what is going on energetically, I guess. For some of you, you maybe have known me for years doing energy work, and um, things are shifting in the energy world. Things are deeply shifting and at a rapid pace, and so it goes as it should. And so, not that I'm taking my job more seriously or honoring this position more that I've been called up to do in this lifetime, and I bet so many of you have been called to do um, that. Yeah, I'm feeling the need to do more of these things. And I took some notes on tonight because tonight is special. And during this time, it is special. We are going to be going through the first half of this evening. And then by 7:35 is actually when the moon peaks with a few aspects. So I want us to drop into what we're going through and actually receive, because I think that's the thing is often we are going through the motions, and we might spend a lifetime going through motions, and the actual energy, the essence, can greatly benefit you, can greatly benefit your life, if you fully go into that place of understanding and trusting what is taking place beyond, I guess, what our seeing eyes, what our past has taught us, per se. I'm going to go in. I wrote the notes on what is going on and the aspects of it, but I'm going to set the intention of, if you are here, and I set this intention before, and called angels into this circle tonight, and just called support, that if you are here, you are lifting your own veil on completely trusting that we live in an energetic world, that we are a part of something really large. So as we move to this evening, going in without skepticism, going in without doubt. And you can doubt or have skepticism towards me, that's irrelevant, but towards yourself, why you are here, what comes up for you, what you feel intuitively as you are here, and allowing yourself to take this and simply accept it as this is reality. This is where you are at. And so I'm going to go into the aspects and write these things down, because it's something that isn't intuitive to me. It's more learned in my thinking brain, but it really matters tonight on what we're going into. So obviously it's the Pisces full moon, and it's peaking at 7:35ish California time. So wherever you are, it just is. But it's a super moon. It's the closest to the Earth while full. That's important to understand, because energetically, and where I am an expert in, we're going to get into why that is so important. It's a partial lunar eclipse, so the Earth is partially covering the moon. And I'll be getting into the energetic aspects of this, but that is like actually physically what's taking place. And then blood moon, this occurs because of the partial or full eclipse. So these aspects, what is taking place right now, and I want you maybe even to think back to a moment to where if someone could tell you, like in a moment, you're not going to have this moment again, this energetic wavelength for 9 years. Whether it's like I was having brunch with a friend and I learned that whoever thought we wouldn't meet here again, we are going to be in this energetic cycle for 9 years. This contract begins this evening and wraps up in 9 years. So you're entering a contract consciously or unconsciously. And what that means is when we are conscious in our experience here on earth, when we are conscious in our energetic experience, then we have the awareness and the ability to trust our intuition, to trust what is happening and understand why. So I wrote down a few things of what this contract falls into, and then I wanted to move over, and I apologize I'm even making notes, but I am going to move over into channeling. And sometimes when I'm in meditation before a circle, my thinking brain isn't as online, and I really wanted to make more of the channeling part of what we're supposed to do with this energy probably the more important part. But earlier when I was meditating, this contract is living in the present. That's important to understand. And what that means is being like the present is your truth. This is now happening. You cannot hold to the past anymore. You cannot hold to the future. Your karma, your contracts are happening in real time. The second one is truth. And when I say truth, and when people ask me what is one thing you've learned in all the thousands of sessions, or I have two things I say, what is one thing you've learned? And the first one is, and I'll just say this even though it's irrelevant to what we're doing right now, every single highly functioning person, whatever you imagine that to be, whether it's financial, happiness, abundance, whatever it is, has a spiritual, physical, and mental practice. Meaning they constantly are keeping up with their spiritual practice, they're constantly keeping up with their mental practice, and they're constantly keeping up with their physical practice. Doesn't matter what it is just a must as brushing your teeth. But the other thing I have learned in doing my work that seems to be a universal truth is that every single thing is true. Every single thing is true. And so in that there's no point in arguing with people because their truth is true to them. There's no point arguing with yourself because if you imagine it, it is real in the imagination. And whether the limitations of the mathematical equations and physics we have on this earth plane, it is to happen on this earth side or a different lifetime or happening simultaneously, it is taking place. So going with the truth that every single thing is true. Every single person, what they're experiencing is true. The next contract we are going into, and just maybe all of you think to yourself like about your own personal meditation practice. How, I even think back to when I was a child and would meditate, or my mom would meditate, it would be for hours. And you might have noticed meditation is getting shorter. It is not getting shorter in the sense of a practice, and having an actual sitting long meditation is not not to do anymore. But what is taking place is the daily life should be the meditation. It no longer is separate. Meditation is in all that you are doing. You are awake in the meditation now. So where it used to have more distance, our souls are at a place to where they can in real time be in a meditative state. And take that with you as you move throughout your evening and throughout your days of removing the idea of meditation and going into this whole experience is a meditation. And the last part of the contract's highlights, the points, the bullet points in the contract is integrity. And integrity is interesting because if everything is true, What is integrity to you? And that is for you to decide in this lifetime. That is for you to find your way with. And so allowing yourself to simply discover your own integrity. And I want you just sitting with those, and I hopefully turned on Fathom, and these notes will be taken, but I don't know if Fathom turned on, so we'll see. But just sitting with those places. And when I mean a contract, what does a contract mean? What is a contract? We are constantly moving through contracts, leaving contracts, and entering new contracts. We are, hold on one second, I'm moving my, okay. We are constantly in contract, and there are energetic contracts taking place larger than us. And that's why I wanted to call upon this full moon circle tonight, because this is a moon that is actually more gentle for the individual, but there are larger contracts at work. So pay attention, because you are, long before you came here and incarnated into a physical body, you agreed to every contract that's taking place. And so in this contract, having awareness and having the education to understand it. And in this contract, you are a part of it. So this will be highlighting, this will be coming up. And what do you want to do with it? What do you want this next 9 years? You'll remember this moment. And there'll be many lessons along the way. We're entering a 9-year ceremony upon other ceremonies that you will be involved in, layer after layer. But you are not going to be shocked by the ceremony you are entering. And so I'll just set that intention for, what I channeled through, but I'm also going to just allow what this energy is coming through. And there's also other aspects happening where we are entering fall equinox, and there's been an energetic pattern that moves for 2 more weeks to where it's shedding. So think of things shedding off of you. So notice how even the miniature contracts with people things you feel, how if you're feeling it, just let it go. Get rid of it. The intuition will not go away. We acquired a gut brain a few years ago. We now have 2 brains. And so with that is our gut brain is our new best intelligence. And so develop it deeply. And if you are someone that had gut issues over the last 4 years, that is because that brain was coming online and stating what it needed. And you now have a gut brain. And so with that knowing, you have to learn to trust it. And with that knowing what's taking place, you will allow those lessons, you allow those paths to open up. So I'm just going to move into channeling, if that's okay. And and I apologize. I'm literally having the longest cold, but if I'm coughing, it's not for throat chakra things. So don't take that as a sign, or take it as a sign, because everything's true. And so perhaps the whole elementary school is having a throat chakra upgrade that landed on me now. But let's drop into channeling. I'm going to probably spend about 5-10 minutes in this process, because then I want to come out and we're going to set some intentions. You're going to set some contracts we have free will in. You're going to set some of your own pieces that you want to be a part of this contract, and what you're calling in for self, and and allowing that to be a part of it. And again, I want to say, you agree to contracts, and you also have your own contracts within it. And just as everything is true, then you can say, I do not want to be a part of this contract. That is also a part of living in the present, truth, meditation at all times. So you can see the duality. And you've got to get very comfortable in duality, because that is taking place at all times. And you have to get comfortable with the different archetypes you are, because that is taking place at all times. Again, I sit here as a teacher. I earlier today was a student. Both are true. One does not cancel out the other. So learning the dualities of life. But I'm going to just drop in and set the intention, and everybody is welcome to join in this, because everybody who is here tonight and everybody who will be watching the recording, our energy is already connected. We are creating this experience. Every word that leaves from my mouth has a frequency, a coding that had to be slightly adjusted so it works for everyone here. We are all as one moving through this. So you can just take a moment and breathe into your own body. As I do not exist in what comes through without this collective form. And I'm just opening up the energy to Pisces moon, the portal it creates, and wrapping everybody here in angelic light, beautiful light. Thank you to those who came before me. Thank you for those whose words I use in this moment. And thank you to each of you who will hopefully take these words, digest them, and give them back out into this world. And with this contract ending, a new begins. Truth, the frequency of truth, knowing, there's many words for it, each with subtle different notes. But what is truly happening, and we do not take away from what you are giving right now as you are entering new contracts, but these contracts have started for some. What is taking place is the ability for the masses to enter into this contract, as some have been in it and some will be coming in. This is the largest rush happening over this time period of Earth. 8 months. But many will need to come for years, and some will not come at all. And this will be where they stay. And that is not good or bad. It just simply is. So give blessing to you awakening in this time. Give blessing to awakening. There is a contract ending that this is replacing. Illusion that started 3,000 years ago. Illusion is ceasing to exist. Illusion. Feel illusion. This word, this frequency, this energy once held when it was birthed into this world to understand Earthside magic, to understand the alchemy of the Earthside. Illusion was born. All things born come pure. Illusion may be channeled, yet it is even losing its encyclopedias. So as illusion ends and truth begins, enlightenment begins. For the individual, it is jarring. You should be feeling ripped open. You should be ripped away from illusion. Even you are holding tightly as it is jarring to the physical body. What you are holding tightly to is control. We ask of each of you often. You hear the whispers, you see the signs. We ask most of you daily. Oh, sweet ones, we ask you often to trust, to understand there is a place for each of you, to understand there is a path. But the control holds tight. It is frightening for the individual to move into truth, and not truth of how you see the world. For most of you here have already woken up and can see. The truth we speak about, the true one that you are gripping so tightly to, deathly afraid of, is once you honor truth and enlightenment, you have to look at self. You have to see your truth. And that is the most frightening of all. Give yourself time. Give yourself patience. The illusion of self is fading. Each of your souls, when you come home at night, tell stories of how the life is, of how the awakening is taking place. But when you come back in and you come back into your body, when you rise in the morning to be birthed again, you forget. And to remove the illusion of self will be the hardest task. We and you chose 3,000 years of illusion, and you get 9 years of disillusion. How funny is that? And that brings us back to why presence in the moment speeds time, as time is different now. Time is moving in any which way you want it to. And remember, you chose this 9-year cycle. It is fast. It will happen in your existence, in your ego's existence, in this physical form. Each of you will hold the coding. Each of you hold a book, an encyclopedia of the old world. Each of you will hold one. But what is important to understand is you won't be there anymore. The souls who don't go with you will stay there, and you will be moving forward, and you will have legacy, holding new encyclopedias, building new libraries, of coding, new libraries of Akashic Record, new libraries of Soul's Path. And these libraries will be used, and you will remember both. And you ask, then how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do this? You don't do it. It already is. It already has happened. That is why you are sitting here now. It has already happened. Your physical form is simply taking place. So do not worry. Loosen the grip. And what you see, when you see yourself, only leads to compassion to the other humans. So there can be no wrong. There can only be hope. Thank you. Thank you for your encyclopedia you will give into this life of the old world and new. Okay, I want to pull out of the channel. Okay, so that's what we got. And yeah, so it's 7:27. Let's spend this time, and for anyone who hasn't seen channeling before, that's channeling. But let's spend these next 7 minutes with ourselves, setting intention, because intention is the simplest thing to do, and it is the boats we ride on, it is the portals we ride through, it is the wind beneath our wings. Intention is a code. You do not have to know how to channel, you do not have to meditate, you do not need to have any superpowers to set intention, but that intention is a prayer or a mantra, however you want to describe it, that locks in. So set your intentions for this full moon. Set your intentions for life. Set your intentions for whatever comes to you, because there's no wrong way to do it. And please share for anybody. Oh, that was an interesting one. And life's gonna be different, and we're gonna remember both, because we're gonna leave whatever we're leaving on. But the rememberings, the codings, the experience we're having, each of you, and why don't each of you name your encyclopedia, like an encyclopedia by your name. And maybe it doesn't even have its name yet, maybe you'll know. But as you move through these 9 years, as you move through each day, feel that data moving from you, as you'll all be turning one in. So just take the time, write your intentions, whatever comes through. Mackenzie says her encyclopedia name, when you feel like a big fucking weirdo in this human game. I love that. And also I think I'm going to even meet you there and say, because weird, I guess everything's weird, but it's also thank goodness we are here tonight. Thank goodness there is that information streaming from you, and you're listening to the call. So you're a big fucking goodness in this human game, and you are needed. And I think weird probably is getting its like definition changed. I like don't really think about illusion, the name, that often, but like immediately they showed this like I don't even know when Egypt was, but there was like some like like crazy like calling in of contracts. It was just said 3,000 years ago. And so I want to kind of sit with that and be like, what is illusion? Because and then man, I felt my own self I was holding so tightly and getting ripped from myself to just not to be like, it's too much, this world, it's too much feeling, to not have to look at myself, which I thought was fascinating. That the illusion of self is dissipating. So you just are what you are, I guess. If anybody else wants to share, Joyce says, soften hands, intention release. Kristen says, giving my trust and whole soul into someone who didn't respect it. Oof. We need those encyclopedias too. And that's the thing, is we get to choose our encyclopedias. We get to choose our encyclopedias. Like, it does not need to be the best one. We are all, this experience is the data needed of what takes place when we left the old world into the new. People had their hearts broken. People felt weird. There was soft hands. So yeah, it's do not, I think that's part of the living in the present in truth, and is just exactly how things are, letting them be still. Does 369 play into this with the 3,000 years and the 9 contract? That's interesting that they're moving through. As far as when I'm channeling and it looks like coding, there's like pretty much you can, for those who are in the psychic class, like there's patterns you can start reading, and then you start to realize every single thing from a leaf to how people walk, think, good experiences, bad experiences take place. So I'm assuming this coding is in the 3s, because yeah, that's a lot of alignments. Jackie says, be present and not be so hard on myself. And yeah, hard on ourselves is a real one. I want to move into these next 10 minutes from 7:35, 6, whenever, when literally our physical being is moving through these places. It might sound strange, it might sound psychedelic, it is. And allow yourself just to receive. When thoughts come in, you can purge them or keep them. You do not need to quiet them. But let's just move into meditation for these next 10 minutes. Trusting whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, whatever is taking place, external noises, internal noises, feelings and sensations, that is your story. And the movement, the shifting taking place underneath this moon knows what to do. You do not need to force it. You do not need to be the best one here. But there is something about reverence. There's something about respecting a moment. There is something about honoring the ceremony. And so just for these next few minutes, allowing yourself to be there. If you feel intuitively the others on this call, in your third eye, your mind's eye, coming along with you, walking forward with you, honoring them as well, your brothers and sisters, in this lifetime, in this moment. Feeling whatever that sensation is of this collective, so when it gets tough and you feel alone, you can breathe it back in. As each of us will have easy days when we can support energetically the others, and when we are low, this collective will lift you back up. You, the moon, this earth, the sun, the space between are all made of the same thing. We all have the same background. We all hold the same stories within ourselves. How divine to be telling an individual story right now. How important your life is. How important your life is. As you've been the moon, you've been the space between, you've been the shadow it creates, and you've been the sun. How important it is that you are you right now. And whatever that gives you, it is important. And if there is anything you want to release as the moon is moving through this peak moment, anything you want to let go, a word, a person, a mindset, a thought, a grip, a scream, a memory, just breathe it off of you as it will leave with the moon as it enters its other side. Here in this moment, no more. No more karmic debt. It's done. What are the karmic debts you are carrying? What are the debts you are carrying to yourself? What are the curses you put on yourself? And what have you allowed into your own individual experience? And just let it go in this moment as you transfer over. As we move to instant karma, awareness in the moment. And as you move through that release, starting to allow your breaths to become light, filling your body with light. Let your shoulders and posture correct, letting energy run down from the crown chakra down into the spine, connect you into Mother Earth below. And just receive and fill up the places you just emptied. And carry this into your individual life. Go be exactly who you want to be. With every duality, proudly. But now with intention, integrity, and awareness. Take one more deep breath into the body. And breathe out. And you may, at this time, continue to journal. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Any ideas, any ruminating thoughts. I want to leave the rest of this time as space to be seen or heard or just experienced, or you can go into your own little bubble. Each and every person here leaves here tonight with themselves, that there was a deep brother and sisterhood taking place of, you can come back here into this moment. I'll give a couple minutes for any questions, and as elementary as it sounds, there is no bad question. Question everything. And I can see the moon too. And if you want tonight, after this call or whenever you have a moment before bed, take a moment to be with the moon. If you stare into the moon, it'll start to speak to you. And how great is that? You know, language goes beyond our vocal cords. Our vocal cords, even in daily life, only support about 7% of communication. So if you move from the daily life into the esoteric, it is quite delightful to realize you can speak to everything. So have a conversation with the moon tonight. Maybe threaten it to let you have a good sleep, as the moon sometimes keeps our energy awake. And thank you. So there's a question. This 9-year cycle period, what do we call it? What is this period? Why does it exist? Why does it exist? I don't know what we call it. Let me ask. So we can call it whatever, but I mean, so if there was illusion, okay, so if we got a long ass 3,000 year illusion cycle, and we have this whirlwind of 9 years only to get out of it. the best word in English, but it's not it, is clarity. And it's like uh like in the seeing world of the real eyes, a veil lifted. The veil is here now. The veil is gone now. There is no veil. The veil is lifted. There's clarity. Um, from those who, and this is like a bigger conversation, but for those who hold the encyclopedias, for those who hold the wisdom, in that dimension, the Titinaro, the Titinaro, um, that is a better translation in that space and time. But the best translation is clarity, which I guess is truth. So yeah, it's like Titinaro. Let me write that down. But if you say why they were showing me I don't know how to explain it, like some things don't translate completely. It's energetic, it's coding, and then you try to translate a word. And like, you know, even in channeling, when you're, there's a bunch of codes going on, there's subtleties, like happiness and joy, and like everything has just these tiny little curves. And, but if you're ever, it helps sometimes having, because Titi Naro, I'm kind of butchering it, Titi Naro, the frequency is better. So if you're ever like questioning life, maybe use that as a mantra over clarity, because clarity doesn't translate it completely. And that frequency, when you say it or you say in the mind's eye, you're gonna get a cleaner frequency. And again, if you're ever like feeling like, wow, what's happening, so use that. Any other questions? Oh, I didn't ask the other. This, what do we call it? What is this period? I guess, why does it exist? Why are we doing this? We're doing a lot of things. This is just where your conscious is. Don't worry about it. We're doing a lot of things. You're doing you so I can do me. You know, the moon is doing it so the earth can do it. So why are we doing anything? It is our turn to be in this conscious expression. It is my turn to be Jessica with these thoughts, feelings, and sensations. So what can I do to honor that? Show up completely in it. What can I do to honor you? Show up in me. And anytime, anytime I'm having a good day, I just give so much prayer and blessing, because at that exact same moment, someone's having their worst day. And sometimes when I'm having my worst day, when I can't find a way out of it, I know, like, even just knowing then somebody's having their best day right now. It is my turn to have the worst. So give gratitude in that, and things cannot stay the same. So why is this existing? It is. And so things either have meaning or they don't in life. And so you either have meaning or you don't in life, but you are in existence. So the best way to honor each person here and the moon and all of life is to honor yourself. Any other questions, or we can wrap it up? How do you spell TT now? You know what? That's pretty much how I spelled it. That's exactly how I spelled it, but it's two words. so Titi Naro. And I don't know if my human tongue is even, Titi is like translating correct, but Naro, it's like a, Naro, it's a word that I don't even know if my like tongue can do, but you nailed it. That's exactly how I wrote it. And again, you don't, the mantra of it, the sensation of it will send you into that frequency, just as, you know, again, when we sing to a plant, it changes. When we sing, say mantras to water, it changes. So just understand you can hop into that. Got so emotional and cried during meditation in a good way. Felt like a release. I was finally able to reflect on my journey the past couple of years and felt proud of myself for how far I've come. Feel good about the foundation I've built and what is to come in the next 9 years. Thank you for sharing that. That's absolutely beautiful. It makes me like emotional because it's awesome. So thank you for sharing that with everybody. And Kelly says, I'm so sorry it changed automatically, but I don't know what that means. So the contract changed automatically. Is that what you're talking about? Yep, we got no choice in it. We changed from illusion to clarity, or Titi Narrow. It changed automatically. And sometimes that happens. And so it goes. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Troy. Having a rough pain day and felt so called to this. Thank you, Jen. I'm so happy you're here. And thank you for holding so much of the physical pain in this lifetime for others to hopefully appreciate a very able body. And yeah, so thank you, everybody here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This will be recorded and in the Patreon. And if you are new to Patreon, because a few people signed up today, please dive into like everything there and catch all the live channelings. I have another Reiki 1 coming up. It's just included in it. And we have a couple channelings in October. I don't know if we have any more classes this month, but I will say the live channelings aren't usually as this many people, so it's more interactive. You can ask questions. A bunch of different guides come through. It's really good, but if you can check out any of those too in the past things. But thank you all so much, and thank you for being here. And yeah, and so it goes. Here we are. So everyone have a wonderful night, and I will be thinking of each of you. So thank you for being here and making this a group thing. So thank you, and